Waluigi guided Nightmare Queen Fluttershy and her allies, Countess Dimitrescu, Shadow Weaver, and Discord, through the confusing landscape of the Nightmare Realm. The Nightmare Tyrant's influence was warping the realm, even beyond its usual chaotic nature, but the surreal hellscape didn't seem to bother Waluigi in the slightest.
This way! This way!
Waluigi shouted.
The dart runs from his car, and on its arm, and he's perfect inside.
How can you be so sure?
Shadow Weaver asked. Waluigi smiled.
I've been trapped in a nightmare for 6 hours, darling.
Shadow Weaver followed Waluigi through the Nightmare Realm, while Fluttershy, Alcina Dimitrescu, and Discord walked behind. The twisted landscape flew by in a flash, as the twisted and undead beings tried to hinder the queen.
Look out!
Alcina yelled, pointing to a figure stumbling through the shadows. A beastly creature with the head of a bird dashed towards the group, but Fluttershy shot an arrow right through its mouth, and the monster crumbled to the ground.
Beasts are not my concern,
Fluttershy said.
This realm is your realm, isn't it?
Dimitrescu asked.
Yes.
Fluttershy said.
Once the Nightmare Tyrant is vanquished, this realm will be mine.
As you say, my lady.
Shadow Weaver said.
It seems there's something else we should look out for, don't you think, Waluigi?
I know!
Waluigi said.
Something, yeah!
What do you mean?
Fluttershy asked.
Wait,
Shadow Weaver said. The group halted. Shadow Weaver drew her sword.
I see nothing.
She said.
Are you sure?
Dimitrescu asked.
No,
Shadow Weaver said.
but it's probably nothing.
Probably right.
Fluttershy said.
You two, go and search the mountain.
She said to Dimitrescu and Waluigi.
Keep an eye out for anything strange.
Hey, right!
The group split up to search the mountain. After a moment, Shadow Weaver said.
I'm going to go help Alcina.
Be careful.
Fluttershy said.
Don't worry.
She drew her sword and set off towards the mountain.
What are you doing?
Fluttershy asked.
I'm coming with you.
No, you stay here and guard the others.
I will come with you.
Shadow Weaver said.
No.
Fluttershy said.
Fluttershy, please.
No! Do you not trust me?
You're a pony.
I'm a monster, yet I'm telling you to stay here. What kind of a monster am I?
I don't know. But stay here, I beg you. If you come with me, then it's a death sentence for you.
What should she do? It's obvious what she should do, so she doesn't.
Stay here with the others.
She says.
Okay.
Shadow Weaver said.
Just don't take too long.
I won't.
And with a final look, Shadow Weaver went to join Alcina. Frieza watched the group depart.
It may be a trick,
He said to himself.
but it's too late to back out just now.
But it's not a trick, it's a good idea.
A good idea.
He asked.
Or a suicidal madness, I don't know yet.
Frieza had followed them to the Nightmare Realm. It was a long journey. He sought to kill the Nightmare Tyrant so he could obtain his dark power to rule the Nightmare Realm. He had also hoped to obtain the Throne of Shadow so he could become the Nightmare Tyrant. His most immediate obstacle, however, was the Nightmare Queen herself. He had heard stories of the Nightmare Queen's power, but he wasn't sure if it was all true. Was she really more powerful than the Nightmare Tyrant? Would she be so powerful as to be able to destroy him? And even if she couldn't, what would be the point of fighting a creature who was as powerful as the Nightmare Tyrant? Frieza decided to find out.
I need to see the Nightmare Tyrant!
He said to the Nightmare Court.
I thought you were dead.
Blitz said.
You fought wrong, I have returned!
I just saw Queen Fluttershy and her ollies.
Yes, I saw them. And
But they're gone now.
They're not gone. They're coming here.
Frieza turned and saw the Nightmare Tyrant walking towards him.
Are you ready to die, mortal?
always!
Oh, good, you're strong. I like you. I think we're going to get along famously.
I'm no friend of yours!
Frieza said.
Oh, but you are. You're my most immediate and serious threat, as you can see, so you're going to do exactly as I say, or you'll suffer my horrible power.
Frieza's eyes widened.
What horrible power!
The Nightmare Tyrant pulled out a purple crystal and shattered it. A blinding light exploded everywhere.
Mothra!
It roared. A portal opened, and the Nightmare Tyrant stepped through.
Don't follow me.
He said.
Where you'll become like me, stay here, and you'll live a long, miserable life. I have to do this, don't I?
No!
Yes.
No!
Frieza vanished. He had no other choice. He would be banished to an endless and miserable existence with the Nightmare Tyrant if he didn't comply.
That was a stupid mistake.
Blitz said.
Maybe, maybe not, time will tell.
The Nightmare Tyrant was still reeling from his failed attempt to kill Fluttershy before she became the Nightmare Queen.
I'll never get my revenge now.
He said.
I have to deal with this mortal. She's a threat to everything. I'll never have my revenge if I don't get this body. I have to kill her. She knows where the Nightmare Realm is. If she leads more mortals there, they'll be even greater threat.
If you are, then we won't have a ruler and we'll assault our power.
Blitz said.
Which is why I'm going to get her, and then we'll see what's to be done.
Elsewhere, Fluttershy and her companions finished scouring the mountain. They regrouped at its base.
Well,
Asked Fluttershy.
what's the situation?
The Nightmare Tyrant has been banished to a pit of nightmares.
Shadow Weaver said.
He can't harm us anymore.
That won't last forever, though.
Discord pointed out.
The Nightmare Tyrant draws his strength from nightmares. It's only a matter of time before he comes back stronger than ever.
I don't think he'll ever return.
Fluttershy said.
The Nightmare Realm has always belonged to the Nightmare Tyrant, and now that he's gone, it will belong to no one.
What do we do now?
Shadow Weaver asked.
I've been thinking.
I'm not going anywhere.
Fluttershy said.
Night.
Alcina agreed.
I have a plan.
Shadow Weaver said.
It's red square, but it's our only option.
What is it?
Fluttershy asked. Shadow Weaver slowly lifted her right arm into the air. On the underside of her sleeve, a long strip of cloth was tied.
What?
Fluttershy asked.
Watch.
Shadow Weaver said. She pulled the cloth from her sleeve. The strip was covered with small black beetles.
What?
Fluttershy asked again.
Meet them.
What?
Meet them.
That doesn't make sense.
Just do it.
Fluttershy hesitated for a moment, biting her lip. She then took the cloth with the beetles on it in her hand. She licked her lips, and then she ate the beetles. They tasted sweet and melted in her mouth. Once they were finished, Fluttershy put the cloth back on Shadow Weaver's sleeve.
What's that?
Alcina asked.
Nothing.
Said Shadow Weaver.
Forget about it.
You never did answer my question.
Alcina said.
What do we do now?
We wait.
Said Fluttershy. They sat in silence for a long time.
What's bothering you?
Asked Alcina.
Nothing.
Said Fluttershy.
Your eyes have been on the walls a lot. What's up?
I'm not sure.
You've been acting strange ever since we got here. Is it something I should be worried about?
No.
Said Fluttershy.
Then what is it?
I don't know.
For a long time, the five of them remained silent. The only sound was the sound of their breathing and the occasional gulp of air.
This is Burn.
Waluigi said.
I am Lion. Puddle one.
Be back in a minute.
Said Fluttershy. Waluigi walked off, and the four others sat in silence once again.
You think you'll be okay?
Said Shadow Weaver.
Yes.
Said Fluttershy.
Of course.
Said Alcina. The silence stretched on and on and on.
I have an idea.
Said Shadow Weaver.
Oh.
Asked Fluttershy.
We should play a game.
What kind of game?
Asked Alcina.
Truth or dare.
I don't know.
Said Fluttershy.
I dare you to go into the village and ask for a light.
Said Shadow Weaver.
I don't want to go into the village.
The village is nice this time of year.
You have to,
Said Shadow Weaver.
Why?
Asked Fluttershy.
because that's the rules.
I don't like the rules.
Truth or dare?
Said Alcina.
Fine.
Said Fluttershy.
Dare.
Oh. Dare you to go into the Nightmare Realm and steal something from the Nightmare Tyrant's realm?
That's even worse than going into the village.
Said Fluttershy.
It's not that bad.
Said Shadow Weaver.
No, I'm just saying, we've already been to the Nightmare Realm, and I still don't like it.
We're in the Nightmare Realm right now.
Discord commented.
It's not that bad.
If it weren't for you,
Said Fluttershy.
we wouldn't even be here.
That's not like that.
Said Shadow Weaver.
You're here because you're powerful, not because of me. I merely provide a pathway for you to become the powerful being you are, without having to go through all the troubles that becoming that being has.
You make it sound as if I were a monster.
Said Fluttershy.
You are a monster.
Said Shadow Weaver.
But in a way, you're a hero. At least, you would be if you were somewhere else. But here, you want it.
I'm not a hero.
Said Fluttershy.
I'm a girl who is in a trap, and I want out.
You are a hero.
Said Shadow Weaver.
Because you decided to do something about it without giving up.
Truth or dare? My dear.
Said Alcina.
Truth.
Said Fluttershy.
Oh, tell us your secret.
Said Shadow Weaver.
Tell us how you became the Nightmare Queen.
I will if you will.
Said Fluttershy.
Truth.
Said Alcina.
I want you a psiche dress.
Oh, you're not serious?
Exclaimed Shadow Weaver.
Of course I am.
Said Fluttershy.
You seriously went to a psychiatrist?
Asked Shadow Weaver.
Don't mock about it.
Said Fluttershy.
You don't know what I went through.
What do you mean?
Asked Shadow Weaver.
I mean, the Nightmare King almost killed me.
Said Fluttershy.
I mean, he tried to kill me twice.
Did someone help you?
Asked Alcina.
Yes.
Fluttershy looked to Discord, who smiled back at her.
I did. It was me. I helped her.
Good for you.
Said Alcina.
But enough about me.
Said Fluttershy.
Truth or dare, I dare you to go into the dead man's barn.
So, you've been in there, huh?
Asked Shadow Weaver.
What's in there?
I'll show you if you dare.
Said Fluttershy.
You really ought to know, my dear, that place is haunted. The ghosts in there are vicious, and they hate all living creatures.
I don't care.
Said Fluttershy.
You should care.
Said Alcina.
You'll be in there for quite a while if you choose to go.
Go well.
Said Shadow Weaver.
Surely my brave little monster will be able to handle a little old-fashioned haunted house.
Don't mock me.
said Fluttershy.
Go in there and do it.
Yes, my queen.
Said Shadow Weaver, and she immediately got up and left. So, at the time I'm recording this, my YouTube account is currently suspended by Google. They won't tell me why, but right now I don't know if I'll be able to get it back or what it means for Nightfall. Y'all watching this now will know better than I do at the time I'm recording it, but hopefully this will go up in the same channel as always. But if not, it'll be on some new channel, and hopefully those of you who've been following the series will be able to find it. Either way, I expect this is going to cause a longer gap than normal between the uploads. So there's your explanation for why there hasn't been a Nightfall in however long it's been. I really do enjoy the process of producing this series though, and I like showing it to some people in my personal life. So I plan to keep making them during the suspension and just uploading them later when I can. Hopefully that'll mean quicker uploads whenever the suspension drama is over. As for this chapter, I thought it was an interesting one. It's really unusual for the AI to like cut away from the characters to a separate scene and then cut back like it did here. But I'm glad it remembered that Frieza was around and that he was wanting to meet the Nightmare Tyrant. What stands out to me most about this chapter, though, is the game of Truth or Dare. I just think it's really funny that the AI introduced this game into the plot for no reason, completely out of nowhere, and then proceeded to demonstrate that it had no idea how Truth or Dare is played or what the rules are or how to write a scene around Truth or Dare. Instead, we just get them all shouting dares at each other or just randomly saying truth in the middle of something else going on. I thought it was too entertaining to cut out, and inadvertently it ended up providing us with what's going to be our opening scene for the next chapter. So join me then as Shadow Weaver investigates the dead man's barn, and if you happen to miss the previous chapter, here's a little clip.
This has been fun.
He said.
I've enjoyed fighting with you.
She looked at him, aghast.
What?
Well, I would have thought you of all people would have gotten behind this. A new order, a new beginning.
Oh, I'm not against it.
He said.
I'm just not into being a tool.
She stood there, stunned.
What are you talking about?
I don't think we can trust these mortals. I think they're all going to betray us in the end. It's the way of the world.
Her eyes widened in realization.
You?
She said.
Yep, I'm a realist.